Dajahao, my name is Garrick, and welcome back to Taiwan, Laowai. So I'm coming out to you right now ridiculously early, like it is 4:50 a.m. as I am filming this. It's not even 5 a.m. yet. I don't know why I woke up this early, but it did sort of turn out because the sky is in a very beautiful state right now, with night over there and then dawn peeking through the clouds over in this direction. Something about Taiwan's clock cycle, I guess, it lights up in the morning earlier than most places, and it goes dark in the evening earlier than most places. So if you wake up early enough, you can catch these little snippets of, super early light day breaking through the night, and I just think it's really cool. Anyway, the reason we are up this ridiculously early is because my body decided to wake me up ridiculously early. Cannot imagine why, because I've actually been quite tired these past couple weeks. But it does kind of work in our favor, because it gives us a good opportunity to continue our mission Michelin. That's right, it's once again time to continue our journey to eat at every Michelin-recommended restaurant in Taipei, from the honorable mention street halls to the highest of high-class 3-star dining experiences. Of course, we're still a bit of a ways away from that. We just had our first 1-star Michelin restaurant in my last video, which you should totally check out because it was a very fun experience. But today we are going back to the honorable mentions category, the Michelin bib recommendation, which is basically all the smaller places that are a bit more low-key than like the super high-class Michelin star restaurants, but still offer good food at an affordable price. There are a couple places in the same general vicinity in Taipei, so not quite sure which ones I'm gonna end up hitting this morning. Some of them open up early, some of them open up a bit later in the day. I figure I will cash my chips where they land. So we'll get a nice early start to my day, we'll get out and about, get some exercise, and then I will have permission to crash for the rest of the weekend, I think. With that said, I'm gonna wiggle my way back over to Taipei. But if I catch any more good glimpses of the rising dawn, I will be sure to put those on video as well. Catch you then. We actually are getting a bit of an early breakfast here because I'm feeling a bit peckish. It's a scallion pancake with an egg inside, 35 NTD. I was very lucky to find a breakfast place open sort of right down my path at this ungodly hour. I've said it before, I will say it again. This is incredible comfort food. Something about this chewy, flaky, fried scallion pancake wrapped around a fried egg, it's just such a good, savory, sort of gut bomb to wake up with in the morning. Don't worry, I do not plan to let this ruin my appetite. I will schedule the rest of my meals accordingly. Also, pro tip about getting breakfast in Taiwan. Most places open around 6 a.m. That's when, the vast majority of breakfast places are open, but there are a couple that will open at, 5 or 5:30, a touch earlier. Even some crazy pantses who will open as early as 4. There are even a couple 24-hour places, open all hours of the day, and there's actually a dumpling place like that on this general walk as well. But generally speaking, if you're in the mood for a hot breakfast, you want to go out 6 a.m. or past, because that is when the vast majority of your options will be open. Man, the nice thing about waking up so early is I really get to walk around and enjoy the sights as opposed to just rushing straight to my location. And you can really see, it's barely been 15 minutes since the start of the video, and already the sky has brightened up this much. It's crazy. Already it no longer feels like night. It feels like early morning. The change came on so fast. Oh, hang on, there's the sunrise. How's it going? Alright, I'm going to slowly and methodically keep working my way. We will see you in Taipei. feel like that's the first good train travel footage I've gotten in a while, so I'm proud of myself for that. Anyways, welcome back to Taipei. It has not really changed a bit since we last saw it, as I'm sure you are shocked and appalled to see. We are sort of heading into a different part of the city today, though. We are heading into Datong district. Now, Datong is sort of a big, tall stretch of land covering the west side of Taipei's central area. Now, because of how ridiculously early it is, there are only a couple food places open at the moment. Like, I cannot stress enough, it is not even 7 a.m. yet. That's how early it is. Luckily, there are 2 little street food holes in the wall that have the Michelin bib recommendation around those parts that do open at 7 a.m. So we've got 2 Michelin places to check out. They're both classic Taiwanese street food. They've got soup, they've got noodles, pickled vegetables, cured meats, everything you'd expect from, you know, your classic Taiwanese street food stall. But they both have their little areas of expertise that they specialize in, so we are definitely going to check out what they are best known for. We've still got some walking to get there. Hopefully that will kill enough time to get us to 7 a.m. when the place is actually open. On the bright side, we will probably get there early enough to beat most of the lines at this point. That said, I will take some more videos of Datong District as we walk along, and I will see you when we get to our first destination. Take care. This right here is the very beginning of Dihua Old Street. It's actually down where it's still called Dihua Street on Google Maps without the old, but it is going to meld into Old Street as we keep walking up. As you might expect, like other old streets we visited on this channel, this is another very walkable shopping district with like very old-timey buildings, a lot of local stalls that set up pretty much every day, I guess. Yeah, and you can tell as we're walking north, these buildings we're coming up to now with the red bricks are more in the old street part of that equation, more in like the stalls and shops part. Now currently, because it is so early, most of these stalls and shops are not yet open. But we're going to kill some time eating at a couple food stalls, so by the time we get back here, there will probably be a lot more action going on. For now though, just a little tease. Alright, it is officially 7 o'clock. Our places are open, which is good because we're finally closing in on the first of our Michelin locations for the day, Mien Tsai. This is a very storied location. Apparently it's been open for more than 80 years. Its specialties are noodle dishes, particularly noodle soups, and a crispy fried version of classic Taiwanese braised pork. Now, unfortunately, according to the Michelin website, their fried pork is only available after 10, so we will just get the noodle soup at first. Hello, motorcycle. Don't worry, nobody's gonna run me over. So yeah, we're just gonna get the noodle soup first, and then maybe if it's like 10 o'clock after we've done our sightseeing and I've still got energy for it, we can head back and see if that pork has made an appearance. Man, I am belching up a lot of gas right now. I hope my stomach is not overstuffed already. That would be very silly. Alright, we gotta get cooking. See you at Mien Tsai. I'll be darned, there's a line already. I In case you can't tell, that yellow sign is my Mien, Tsai, so we are definitely in the right place. And it looks like the locals have given it their stamp of approval because it literally just opened and it's already a little backed up. So we're just gonna jump in the end of the line. We're gonna wait until we get a chance to sample the food for ourselves. See you there.
5 minutes later.
Oh my lord, that was delicious. Alright, it was pretty packed in there, so obviously I couldn't really provide much commentary in the moment, but yeah, that was extremely well worth the visit. So it's a pretty small little indoor space, but they pack people in pretty tight. You might end up sharing a table with a stranger, because they like to fit people in wherever they can. I sat next to a couple other Taiwanese guys. We all just sat and ate our food without incident, so don't worry about it. Now, the guys cooking there, they all worked very fast, very efficiently. It's clear they are used to, like, serving a lot of food to a lot of people in not a lot of time. They didn't speak too much English, but we managed to communicate. I think very cleverly they saw me coming in and immediately pegged me as like a foreign tourist who heard about this place from Michelin and wanted to get like the best stuff. So they walked me in and said, okay, we're gonna give you this and this, okay? And I was like, okay. And they said, okay. And they, yeah. So yeah, I got exactly what I was looking for. I got myself a nice, thick, unctuous pork bone noodle soup. And I'm pretty sure I got that fried, braised pork belly I was talking about as well. Now, the pork belly came with two different dipping sauces. One was like a sweet soy, and the other was like a sort of a sticky sesame with a kick of spice. Not a lot of spice. It's less than even a jalapeno, which is like just enough to make your palate jump a little bit, sort of perk you up. They were both very good, and the pork itself was very good too. It was like very juicy and fatty and unctuous. Something I've noticed about Taiwanese street food is that it really favors that kind of chewy, gelatinous fattiness that certain meats can get with like fried pieces of chicken thigh or, you know, slabs of pork belly. It has taken me a while to get used to it, I think, but I am coming around on it. I think especially dishes as good as this are helping convert me on that kind of texture eating experience. The soup was good too. There was a lot of unctuousness from what I was pretty sure was, you know, pork bone broth, tonkotsu broth. It was ramen-style noodles. I believe you can also get rice noodles instead, but you have to ask for them. And obviously my Chinese was not good enough for that, but it's totally fine. I like ramen noodles. They were a good fit. And it's a very pared-down noodle soup. It's just, you know, the broth, the noodles, some bean sprouts, and maybe like a tiny little bit of fried garlic on top. So you gotta make sure everything is basically perfect, and everything basically was perfect. But what really put it over the top, I had this big-brained idea. When I finished the pork, I took up the plate and I poured the leftover dipping sauces into the broth and mixed them all together. And let me tell you, that is one of the best ideas I have had in my life. That was so good. Something about mixing in those punchier flavors just really put the whole soup over the top for me. It was rich, it was savory, it was umami. Like, I didn't know if I was gonna finish the bowl or not starting out, but I ended up slurping it down as fast as I could once I put those sauces in. So that's my advice for you if you ever come to my Mien, Tsai. Make sure you pour those leftover sauces into the soup. You will thank me for it. The overall eating experience was very good too. The line moved very fast. I was in and out and had my fill and back out in less than 30 minutes. Obviously, you might get longer wait times depending on when you show up and how long the line is, but yeah. But what made me happiest was the cost. It was only 70 NTD. That is genuinely the cheapest meal, like full satisfying meal I have gotten at a Michelin-recommended place. And that tells me that they've really stuck to their roots as like a local joint, you know, despite all the extra fame and attention they might have gotten, they have stayed true to the kind of food that made people love them in the first place, and I think that's really cool. So yeah, my Mien Tsai gets a big thumbs up from me. Definitely check it out if you're in the area. Be aware it closes early. It's only open from like 7 to 2:30 every day of the week, so definitely plan like a breakfast or a lunch outing, not a dinner. And wouldn't you know it, we have already arrived at the second place for this video. In fact, we kind of overshot it a bit while I was talking. So this orange awning here is Da Qiao To. There are actually a couple places with this name in the nearby vicinity. Make sure you come to the one with this very distinct orange awning, because that is what Google Maps is pointing me towards. Like I said before, this place is also known for its Taiwanese street food, more specifically for its chewy, sticky rice. Michelin describes it as sort of a tube rice pudding, which sounds very interesting, so I'm definitely eager to check that out. Just gonna give you a quick overlook of the general street layout. I'm facing north right now. Sorry for the motorcycles, that's back down south. Once again, I doubt I'll be able to do much commentary within the stall itself, so I'm gonna pop in, get myself some sticky rice, and I will see you when I'm finished eating.
5 minutes later.
Woo-wee, that was another success. Man, so you know how we said that last place was like super quick and efficient with its service? Well, apparently I hadn't seen nothing yet. That was the single quickest meal I have ever had, food stall or otherwise. I literally got in, finished my little sticky rice pod, and got out in less than 10 minutes flat. Now, much like my Mien, Tsai, it's a very small place. Everybody's sort of packed in wherever you can fit them. You're probably going to be sitting among strangers, but it's okay because everybody's just there to enjoy the food. I swear, it's always with the motorcycles, right when I'm reaching the end of my clips. God! Literally all I got was the little sticky rice pod. They were steaming a whole bunch of them in their big steamers. They obviously their most popular items, so they keep a lot of them handy for when people order them, because people order a lot. It was very small, but it was very rich in flavor. You could definitely taste the sort of pork it had been marinating and stewing in for a while. It came with a single slice of pork and a slice of like a soy sauce marinated hard-boiled egg on top. The rice was nice and chewy without being mushy. It was like sort of like a big container bomb of the best day-old fried rice you've ever had, if that makes sense. But once again, it was truly elevated by adding a sauce. There were like 2 canteens full of some kind of orange sauce on the table that you could serve yourself however you want. And it ended up being sort of the perfect counterbalance, because it added this very fruity, tangy note that cut through the richness of everything else. I'd sort of compare it to, you know, those kind of duck sauce packets that you get with Chinese takeout in America. It was that sort of flavor profile and consistency. And, you know, considering I was like describing it as day-old fried rice in a good way, I think that's exactly the sort of food sense memory that I would want to evoke more of at that point. God, I have got to stop filming these videos while I'm crossing over streets. I keep getting motorcycles in my ear. And once again, it was super cheap, only 40 NTD. Which means this entire Michelin trip, I have only spent 110 NTD on 3 dishes. I have had single dishes from other food stall type Michelin places that have cost more than this entire rodeo thus far. Also, hey, look at this day market we're passing by. Whew. Good to know, even in the thick of metropolitan Taipei, we still get these great open-air markets. So the Da Qiao To menu is fairly limited. Aside from the sticky rice dumplings, pretty much the only other thing you can get is soup. There's a few different kinds. There's like fishball soup, I'm pretty sure. The one that the Michelin guide recommends is their oyster soup. But I'm a 1 soup per day sort of guy, so I will leave that for you to explore on your own. Point is, those were both great examples of street food done right. They were tasty, they were hot, they were fast, they were efficient, and they filled a void in my hollow, hollow soul. And they did so while being ridiculously cheap. Can't ask for more than that. Once again, the first place is Mien Tsai, the second place is Da Qiao To. They're basically within a 5-minute walk of each other, so you can do what I did and bounce between both of them for like a single meal. Da Qiao To is open a bit later than Mien Tsai. It closes at 4 p.m. every day. But also, it's not open on Tuesday, so keep that in mind. Overall, 2 more big successes for Michelin. You guys are doing good. That's gonna be it for this video. Truth be told, I'm not sure Dubois Old Street will actually be open yet, because it's barely even 8 o'clock at this point. I did not realize how fast those eating experiences would go, so it's entirely possible stuff will still not be open, but we will pop over and give it a look-see. And if the look-see does not look good, then we will have to save it for another day. C'est la vie. But this video at least has gone exceedingly well, I think. Hi, update from the future. Most of the places in Duhua Old Street are indeed still closed down, so we will have to save exploring this neck of the woods for another day. Let that be a lesson. If you want to visit Duhua Old Street, come a bit later in the day, probably closer to lunchtime, 11 or 12. I imagine most of these places will be open and roaring for business by then. Alright, that's all for me. Back to the present, or the past. Whatever, back to the video, back to the end of this video. Bye, hi, bye, bye. Once again, thank you for joining me at Taiwan Lao Wai. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, smash the bell, share with your friends, all that good stuff. My next mission, Michelin, will bring us back into the realm of the luxurious Michelin star, so look forward to that. It's gonna be a fun one. But for now, as always, I will see you next time. 再见. Bye-bye.